potential good thing for Mega. TYG is out. Been subbed out for a week, who's now playing with Bazzi on Temple of Anubis. So TYG has been probably the biggest issue for Mega. So at least he's gone for the time being. Not permanently, he's just been subbed out.
Yeah, but Bazzi on this Widowmaker, I mean, even a week on Oasis when he was playing, it was a bit of a terror. They are going to have to deal with him now, though. That was that did they plant a shield on the top of the arch there? That was a pretty cool, wow, nice from Titawat there to actually make that land.
Well, cute plays, but we'll see how far that gets them. Titawat on half HP right now as a dive into effect. Rocket on 0 HP. Slightly worse than half, I'll say. Pudo does make that trade, so again, a bit of the narrative has been Talon will get kills, but how many does a Pudo get back? Because if a Pudo can't get them back, it doesn't seem like any of the other members are.
Well, he gets another one onto Bazzi, but once again, he's the rear guard. He's not leading this team into victory, and he can't do it all by himself. As we see there, the micro rockets too much for him in the end. The stagger won't work.
I would love to see another Mega member really assist these kills right now, but it does feel like if a Pudo's not getting the kills, no one is, and that fight perfectly demonstrated that point, I feel.
And they need to work out their angles, right? Rocket getting picked so early in the fight, he shouldn't have been exposing himself to the sniper. That was just asking for...
Play behind Titawat's shield would be better.
Really asking for it there. Now Pudo, thanks to his heroics on the first point, has already got that Dragon Blade up, so that's something they can use here.
Does have to contest with a weak Dragon Blade, who does get used first. Now Mushroom gets killed, Inzonite gets a kill. We are seeing those other Mega members start to come on through right now, and the addition of a Pudo's 2 that you would expect them to get, that's enough. That's enough to just rebuff Talon for the time being. Mega have stabilized. We've seen in our past 2 matches tonight, many times this first push go very well for the attackers and the defenders not quite finding their feet. Mega have at least found their feet here. They have secured that first defense.
That's very important. Definitely looking at the other times we've seen this tonight, it is quite important. But Bazzi, he's going to open up onto NZNR here, and the Valkyries come out a defensive one from Rocket.
Pudo's going to make that clean up with assistance from teammate Titawat right now. Rocket's had enough. Got to get himself some kills. Trance being forced down on the other side. Primal Rage as well. A 2-for-1 ult trade, which a Pudo will probably be quite pleased to take here, especially if Pichu himself will get 2 kills, and then suddenly Mega coming alive on this defense. Everyone contributing, everyone collecting ultimates. Rally as well being very helpful, and Talon Esports in an unlikely position, not finding a lot of success.
Yeah, it kind of feels like Season 1 here, right? Both teams just wanting to sit on these, you know, really dive-heavy compositions. They're not picking up a lot of the stranger picks, or at least the less common ones that we've seen a lot on Anubis. Sombra, Doomfist. We are seeing a Brigitte, I guess, out from Talon, but either way, they're really relying a lot on the snipers and just the straight-up dive.
Let's not speak too soon either. I think the Doomfist could still come out. It wouldn't be impossible, and in fact, it would be fairly likely based on what we've seen on this map. But Talon, again, are in this awkward space where it's actually reasonably difficult for them to break through this entry point at the moment. And if they can sort of get a rotation going, which killing Inzonite will allow them to do, this is where you'd really start that attack. And a week's going to need to look for an angle for this blade also.
Yeah, NZNR obviously not willing to play defensively. He keeps taking these peaks against Bazzi and continues to lose them. This is going to open up the point for Talon Esports as Awik pushes in with the Dragon Blade. A couple for him. Wow, there's a lot of damage at least. He might not have got the finishing kills there, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough. And as the Prophet predicts, here comes the Doomfist.
And Mega Esports as well. Pudo's ready to go on this blade should he need it, but likely he's not going to have to use this, and Mega will not want to use it either if they don't have to. And so Talon Esports just unprepared. There was a decent rotation, a decent entry point, but a week didn't get enough damage done. Already 65% on his way to the next blade, so silver lining, I guess.
You know, I want to see NZNR stick on this Doomfist. He was really not getting anything done on the Widow. This at least allows him to try and attack the back line to try and get a quick kill onto either the Mercy or the Zenyatta, and also do some damage to the tanks if they get there on the point. They are going to go in with this rally now from Gogora.
Pudo's down to 66 HP. At least for the time being, needs to find the kills, gets 1 kill, does disrupt that rally, so
hey.
Beautiful deflect headshot onto Bazzi as well. cleaning up that back line. Tito back into the fight. Probably didn't need to be res, but Mega here just want to be sure on Talon Esports. The Talon Esports thing right now is that they have been saving up ultimates, so despite Mega having won these fights, you'd expect Talon to maybe come back through much stronger.
Wow, Apudo being very aggressive there. Wants to build up that
Tito.
He really wants to build up that Dragon Blade quick, and yeah, Tito just hiding in the back line here. Mega trying to force the fight outside of the point, and this will allow an opening.
Oh boy, yep, Awik got himself a kill into Rocket, but then gets stunned up straight away. Pichu getting in his face. Mushroom to clean up the kill, then Pichu collecting Gagora as well. He's an 8 done. Not today, good sir. Looking for more in the back line. Persia is the target. Persia has, at least for the time being, eluded Inzana, but doesn't elude Tito. With some help now, will eventually push everyone out, and for Talon Esports, not the good start they were looking for. That was a bad start.
So a week now onto the Pharah. They have identified a weakness in the Mega lineup. They're going to have trouble dealing with anything from the air. It looks like NZNR has recognized this. Now he will switch over. Let's see what it is.
The Torb?
The Tourbillon. That's not the one I was expecting. Apparently that's the answer to Pharah and Anna.
It's really not the answer to Pharah though, because the turret does not.
No, but it is. He says it is.
The turret does not. He said a few things to Scam that I've not agreed with. The Doomfist is one of the few things that I have agreed with along with Hanzo. But right now, well, it's the father-daughter combo that I didn't expect us to see so soon. And Pichu playing the Brigida there as well, so double armor. Does it even stack? We'll find out today. And Talon Esports now trying to deal with Apudo, who himself is going to go anti-air. Not going to find a lot of that air, though. Does find, ironically, a lot of air with the blade, which is not kind of the air he's looking for.
Oh dearie, so they've had to deal with this Anna now. Biotic Grenade does see a couple of the Mega members turn purple, but not purple with envy. They're actually pretty comfortable with their defense right now. Haru just manages to get there. Look. I turn purple with envy, okay? I get envious and I hold my breath and I turn purple.
Does it go along the color spectrum where the more envious you get, you know, you
exactly.
Go purple and then, I don't know, and then you go to the alternate dimension. But the interesting thing to note...
You go through the Graviton Surge.
Yeah, something like that. I'm still waiting to see.
You're waiting. In 40 seconds, there's going to be a Molten Core, and he's going to kill all 6 members. That's what I think.
You know, or a week just rockets the turret out and nothing happens.
Not when it's got 800 health, mate.
Climactic. You got to get there first, and currently Talon Esports have the 5 ultimates that Mega do not have. Apudo himself about to get that Dragon Blade, but man, he's going to struggle. There's so much on the other end to deal with him. Here it comes. Apudo with the double. Whoa! There it is, the Fly Swatter, both Awik and Haru getting taken down. Bazing with a response.
You hate to see it.
Well, you love to see it right now, but Mega Esports, it doesn't really matter for them. It seems like they will hold on to this defense right now because NZNR will still respawn, Molten Core ready to go, Primal ready to go, Talon unlikely to cap.
Exactly, it was just the threat of the Molten Core, right? That was, that put the fear of God into Talon Esports, and it's going to push them off the point at the end as he doesn't even need to throw those armor packs out. He's too busy throwing the rivets into the head of Talon. Even Rocket joining in with the Caduceus blaster there.
Mega is going to be the cleanup. Now this is a somewhat unfamiliar place, I would say, for Talon to be in this matchup. Considering how clean their run through of the first 2 maps have been, for them to not have completed this attack, and mind you, we've seen the opposite of this many times over the course of now 3 Temple of Anubises this evening. Many times that first attack has broken through the defense while the defense were not ready to set up, while they were freshly on new characters. The attackers had some pretty good time banks, but we talked about Mega. Because they held on to that first defense, it allowed them to snowball that defense, allowed them to stabilize, bunker down, and how important that first defensive fight for them is on B. Because they won that, they've given themselves the opportunity to full hold.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, they can't bring out the Torb on attack. Or
don't
can they?
How much do Mega want to lose? Is the question.
Well, looking by that defense, I'd say not at all. Really well done there, managing to finally bring this series back a little bit. It's not out of their grasp just yet.
Here's the other thing. We have also seen a lot of fantastic A-point defenses across both previous matches.
And teams have really worked that out.
I suspect that Talon could very much do the same thing now. If Apudo is really going to run the Sombra, could throw a spanner into the works, because one thing this composition is going to be weak against, specifically when you're running something like a Hog Orisa or the Orisa Hog, is an EMP completely shuts those characters down. Orisa really needs those abilities, and I would say that Hog really relies on Take a Breather during really poor moments, and without the usages of those abilities, the Sombra could be actually extremely big.
So, as you say, we do have that Sombra coming up here. They do manage to scout him out immediately. That spam just coming through and removing some of their health, but that's fine. He's got this pack over here to hack if he wants to, but he's just trying to get behind. Meanwhile, NZNR and the hack on the Mercy.
That is an absolutely perfect hack as well. It means no resurrection, and Haru goes down, so does Persia, and we haven't even seen the EMP. Apudo doesn't even have to charge it right now. This is a huge push coming out from Mega Esports, even though Kagura had some responses with Bazzi. Note that Mega have respawn advantage. Pichu getting the kill to Bazzi himself as a Genji, which is kind of an insane pick for a support player.
But that's enough. That's really important. They got the kill onto Apudo, and that means he's not going to be able to go ahead now and instantly get the hack on the bridge health pack. We know how important that is, getting into position there on the second point. He possibly could have got some poke up there and built up the EMP, but it's NZNR who's going onto the Doomfist now, and they're really going all out. One healer plus Sombra.
Well, you know, look, the EMP is kind of the main talking point here, because I'm not certain that Mega are going to spend too much time trying to build this. I mean, they could, but then they would give Talon Esports probably too much of an opportunity to dig their heels, and similar to what Mega did. So Mega kind of have one shot now. Mega have one shot to get this 1/3.
But look how much time they're not going to have to deal with the Inspire or the Coalescence. So there's not a lot of support ultimate usage anytime soon from Talon Esports. If Mega can get a couple of quick kills, just put that damage down, and that's what they can do with these kind of heroes.
I want to say as well, Mega can't afford to have a long fight. They're a triple support on the Talon side, one support on the Mega side. It's heavy damage versus heavy healing. And it is, yeah, well, I mean, the one tick was mentioned here, but Apudo as well, with the one EMP, can just give you that one tick. Here comes those ultimates. Note that Heater and Mushroom won't get healed on us. Rocket has to pop the Valk. I don't know why Rocket's waiting. Apudo needs to find the EMP. It's one push to secure this, and Mega, they know what the stakes are. They cannot afford to lose this. Double kill from Mushroom is absolutely massive. Persia looking for the Coalescence, doesn't quite have it just yet. Kagura already demeked. By the time the Coalescence comes out, it's probably too late right now. Pichu's still alive. Every ultimate that is online is about to be used. Kagura dies without having that self-destruct available, and currently now, it's not going to happen. The one tick is eluded Mega.
And they had so many ultimates, and it really felt like they were in a fantastic position to get that. I almost feel like the fact that Talon have to defend that one tick is kind of the reason why they managed to defend that there. They were so desperate, they made sure they were on the point the whole time.
So I will address this huge compositional change up for Mega, but before I do that, I do want to say Mega being the attackers with only one healer, they need the sustainability to win 2 team fights, and that was not going to happen for them. Despite the ultimates they had, it was not going to happen. One support will not be able to sustain you, so in a way, I'm not surprised that Mega didn't camp out, but here comes that pseudo Goats. In fact, it's full Goats right now. Can they get the distance here? And they can make anything work, and any composition can be effective because they just need the one pick, but it's not. This isn't going to be the push where it's going to happen for them.
No, it won't be this time. That said, I think it's possible with the one healer, just because you only need one tick, so you don't have to sustain throughout the team spawning in again and again and again, as you might see through a full point cap. There was a possibility there if they managed to utilize all of those offensive ults together, but you're right, it was probably a slim one.
It's not going to be a full team respawning, but it is going to be a trickle of constantly one member coming back, then another member coming back, then another member coming back. Outside of the one Valkyrie that Rocket had, he doesn't have the healing. That was in the past though, and this is in the present. And in the present, Mega are currently trying to collect some ultimates, but look, Talon just have way more, and Persia's going to come out now with the Reptile following up from the Dragon Strike, and already this is probably too much damage. This is probably too many kills. A 1-for-1 is okay, but Talon would rather Mega need more. That's more. 2-to-1 now. Still need to be able to get a decisive amount of picks, which I don't feel this is.
It's going to be very hard to do when you've got a Primal Raging Monkey on the point there. They're going to try and use the rally of Pudo.
Ooh, I think this could be it. Bazzi right now trying to come through with his own rally, but where are the Talon teammates? It's a lot of Mega members onto the cap, and if Mushroom survives, the grab that he can throw out can deny members from getting back on the point. Surely that's the weapon of choice right now, because Talon Esports have mostly respawned. Mega cannot afford to wait too long. A week's picking up kills. Mega had the opportunity. Where is this grab? When does Mega commit? Because Talon Esports are firing back, and every single kill that Talon get is worth 2 of Mega's. And Mega are certainly not getting 2-for-1s.
That was... I feel like we've already had 3 opportunities for Mega to take the first tick in this point, and they haven't been able to execute on any of them. Silver lining, sure. Mushroom's going to have a grab coming into this next point if they can.
He had it in the last point.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like this has to be the point where things gonna happen. Pichu down means they have to wait. Waiting means
they don't have a res. There's no mercy.
Waiting means Talon will get another tire. Another tire means a potential another team. A team wipe for Mega Esports.
And they just can't afford to lose those players without the mercy.
Oh, they're losing more now, forcing Mega backwards even more, which is then gonna snowball the defense further. A weak will then get himself a Dragon Strike. Villanyo will get himself a Primal Rage. And suddenly, Talon Esports will have all these ultimates cycled through while Mega are still sitting on the exact same ones from about 2 fights ago.
Unless they manage to pull all of those guys with the ultimates into the Graviton Surge and deal with them summarily, it looks like Mega are going to have to really struggle this through here.
One step at a time. The first step is get rid of this tire. Yep, well, that's one way to get rid of it.
Or you mean the tire will get rid of them?
I mean...
you misspoke, I understand.
It's not the way you wanted to get rid of the tire, but now we get into the other side of things. So the comments were made, right? We talked about the fact that the snowball happens now. Mega, by the way, sitting on the same ults. Talon Esports get the tire, use the tire, then a weak get the ultimate, then Villanyo get the ultimate, and then the cycle continues.
I think what they needed to do there really was burn a couple of ults, and the fact that they managed to win the fight with just one, that puts Mega in a terrible spot here. They're really trying to just build up and get one large push going, but they can't do it if they're dying to one ult every time.
But the thing is, Mega Esports have been at ultimate advantage for so long, and Talon have not had ultimates. Talon have now had time to build ultimates that they did not have 2 fights ago. We've been waiting 2 fights to see this engagement out of Mega right now, and it has to be a big one. This has to be the Supernova. Dragon Strike doesn't look very good, so that's one bullet dodged by Mega. Double support ults now, finally the Graviton Surge. Earthshadow used as well. Are we going to see kills? We're going to see 1, we're going to see 2. A D-Mech tire again. Oh, this tire could be very, very bad. It's got 1 kill, which is survivable for Mega, I gotta say. 4 members still alive is very capable, but now Talon will have respawners. Gagora doesn't even use a self-destruct, that's at least something else. Villanyo no primal now. If this is not the cap for Mega, no cap will be. They've got no more time, no more opportunity to reset. Rally from Apuda, rally from Bazzi. Bazzi will get taken down right now. It is trickles from Talon Esports, but it is trickles that seem effective.
And you see them, they're coming in from both sides. Mega keep having to switch their attention from left to right. They don't know where the respawns are coming through, and it feels like they might finally be able to push them off and get the tick. They've done it. They've brought a map back. There's hope for them yet.
Oh, wow, and I guess the satisfaction here can be in that, not even satisfaction, I guess. It's more like the relief. The relief here can be in that for Mega Esports, they had all the time to play with. They were allowed to lose this many fights and suffer this kind of insane kill streak from Persia because they had built up such an insane amount of time after capping A that they could fail many fights in a row on B and then eventually get in the final fight to get only 1 tick in. At 1 tick, they had to fight tooth and nail for.
They really did, and it just felt like they didn't understand how to trade ultimates effectively there. Sitting on yours for so long always means you're going to fail to get ahead in ult economy. You're going to let the opposition catch up, and sometimes, you know, you've got to, as they say, you've got to spend money to make money, right? And it's the same thing with ults. Sometimes you've got to chuck an ult out to try and bait 1 or 2 or 3 out of the opposition.
The first step of the reverse sweep has now come into place. Doesn't mean Mega are out of the water just yet. Still swimming from the deep end to try and reach the dry shores of land. But for Talon Esports, still on to match point currently.
Trunks just above water.
Mega Esports, look, their heads are above water because we are going to go to a map 4 where Mega have the opportunity to win again, push us to a map 5. And I've got to say, look, even if Mega do not win that map 5, assuming we get there, I think Mega's done a decent job with this matchup. But at the same time, if Mega can win 2 maps in a row, they can certainly win 3 in a row.
The second one, though, that's the tough ask,
I think Temple was enough of a tough ask already, but if that wasn't tough enough, Escort will be perhaps tougher.
Just maintaining breath there. Will they get dragged down by the Coral, or will they manage to make it to the shore? I mean, if you get caught on it, I guess. It's got the potential. It's very, have you ever touched it? I mean, do not touch Coral.
Saying,
it cuts you. It is so sharp.
The image I got was that it just kind of grabs you and pulls you. I don't know. That's not quite, doesn't quite make sense, but it cuts you. It cuts you like, I don't know, like things that cut you, I guess. But
Genji's Dragon Blade.
Unless it's from Shui, because he's failed a decent number of those. Good amount of air blades.
Yeah.
Look, I think it's pretty clear right now that Mega have a job to do. Rialto is going to be that next map. We've seen one Rialto this evening, a decent amount of fire play. We've seen a Rialto where I think in that particular matchup it was Machi versus EXL. Machi had a much clearer identity on Rialto. They had a fantastic B hold despite losing that 8-point defense. And for a team like Mega, where actually this is Talon's map pick as the loser of the last map, Mega should probably look to defend first. I think Mega may struggle in attack here. I suspect that Mega will have a better time defending than attacking, especially if we use Temple Anubis as the benchmark, where attacking was definitely not good for Mega, but the defense was solid, in terms of their B defense at least.
Yep. Well, will we see another great McCree performance come out? You know, every now and then we do see...
I figured it out.
Okay, okay. Hit me with the knowledge.
Talon will bring TYG back, and suddenly all that pain will just flood straight in for Mega Esports, because he's the man. I mean, a Bazzi in a week, they're good, but you know, when TYG was gone, Talon dropped the map, that's all I'm saying.
Yep, they did not manage to get over that hump without him. TYG. Does he play McCree?
Possibly plays McCree. Memory eludes me right now if he exactly plays it, but so far everything he's played has been extremely effective against Mega.
Aputo's got to mean McCree sometimes. I can pull it out.
I don't know if this is going to be the map, but this doesn't feel like the map where you have that kind of expectation.
It did feel like StatVision was the difference between those two teams in our last matchup.
Yeah, I think we can say that. What we can also say is TYG is definitely back in. So Talon are pulling out the big guns as they should. And why shouldn't they want to win 3-1? They should definitely want to win a 3-1 here.
I mean, you know, they came into this with high expectations of themselves.
I think that's kind of
like we did, and honestly, if they didn't do, if they did any worse than 3-1, I think they'd be quite disappointed with themselves at that point. But Mega, they've managed to turn one map around. Why not a second? You actually see them around the side here. Is T-Dot, maybe it's just a damage-boosted fire strike. Yeah, okay, he's not going for a silly charge or anything like that. The Xayah was there ready to bubble him if he needed to.
Silly charge, going away into this one, maybe. 20% though.
Particular category of charge.
Yeah. 30% now, nearing for T-Dot, so it's a decent lead, but I'm more interested in seeing where the Zaryas are at in terms of their charge, and even better yet, perhaps where the DPS players and TYG on the Hanzo is. We're going to start things off on the Brigitte, so...
Yeah, and there's only one Brigitte here, okay? So this gives Mega a huge advantage. The fact that Villeneuve, he has to basically rely on his Xayah and her projected barriers to stop getting stunned up.
At the same time, though, there's a significant lack of damage output coming from Mega compared to Talon Esports, who are running 2 proper DPSs, whereas Mega are kind of only running 1 DPS and 3 supports. I will also say, though, if Enzina can hit shots, well, it doesn't matter. He can make up for the deficit. The scary thing here is, and I guess things have kind of changed, but previously we have relied a lot on Apudo to make plays. And Apudo's ability to make plays as a support is definitely not as high as his ability to make plays as a DPS. So far, Mega have been picking up kills across the board on other members, so they got that going for them.
That Brigader puts out damage, man. Don't you underestimate her, okay? They call her a hybrid, and that's because she does damage, support, and tanking.
I say that part of the situation is probably not right now, because Dragon Strike came through. Villeneuve and a week both finding kills after opening up that point in the choke. And Enzina, he was kind of the hope here. He was kind of the member that started things out defensively for Mega. He's going to end things out, unfortunately for Mega, as Talon Esports, a week and for Sight still available to go. Sees that no Mega members are even really grouping up together to stop this cart. You should expect Talon to get a free capture onto A. And Mega already... Oh no, Mega wanted to say again. Wow, T1's charging straight in. That one's certainly not a silly charge. He completes it. Even connects into Villeneuve, doesn't get a kill, but it doesn't matter.
Grab's ready.
Grab's got to be in as well. Transcendence to counter straight away. Still no kills have come through. T1's going to change that though. Onto a week and suddenly Earthshatter down. A few Mega members onto the ground, but T1 crucially survives and puts the shield up in time. Grab strike now from Talon Esports will end this debacle.
It was a good effort by Mega there. They came in, they forced some ultimates out of Talon Esports, but unfortunately they fall for the oldest trick in the book. You see the Reinhardt fall behind the payload, all of a sudden you're like, oh, maybe I can let my shield down, but guess what, guys? The Earthshatter goes under that, and he gets played for a fool. T2Watt, unfortunately, at least he's going to have his one ready next time.
That was actually a big win for Mega Esports, despite not actually winning the fight or stopping the cap onto A. They forced out so many ultimates from Talon Esports. Yes, they did spend a lot of their own, but the attacking ultimates here are more important because Talon want to be snowballing. Without those ultimates, Talon can no longer snowball, and Mega have a much better chance of stabilizing.
Yeah, absolutely here. You see, it's going to be probably only towards the end of this fight that they will get those. And T2Watt, you can see him just jockeying for position right now, trying to find... Well, he looked like he was trying to find an Earthshatter, but he will instead find Gogora there with the charge, whose bubble ended just in time.
Oh, that is not a place we want to be resurrecting, because the Earthshatter's about to come through as well. Mega, you didn't quite see where the members are, but they're starting to pile in. Perhaps still a little bit too late, though, because Villeneuve himself, he sees how much damage and see how much pressure T1 is doing on the other end, and he says, no more of that. I'm coming in to countercharge you.
And as soon as he laid down that Earthshatter, you can just see the regret on his face, right? He was like, oh, whoops, my teammates aren't here. There's going to be no follow-up to that. He puts up his shield, and it's almost like he's trying to hide his face from us.
And where previously Mega had kind of pushed out all the ultimates from Talon Esports, that's no longer the case. Members going down without Talon even having to ult. I lie, Infrasight was used, but not the most impactful in terms of changing a game. It is going to be feeling impactful to help a week get some kills, and with those kills coming in with support from Persia's headshots, Talon just gets a cap pretty much for free. I mean, the big ultimates, the big ones we're talking about, those 4 have not been used.
No, Talon are looking fantastic here, rolling into the 3rd point. The cathedral, the church, whatever it is, it's not going to present many problems for them if they use all of these ultimates effectively, especially if they can grab Rocket in that Graviton Surge.
Enzina does get the kill into a week. You can suspect that probably that'll get resurrected back in. Earthshatter as well, coming the other side from Villeneuve, but not going to find any results. Mega going to be okay. Stand up on their 2 feet, pushing Talon Esports back in. Strangely enough, Talon Esports, you'd expect to be the proactive team. They have the better ults, they have the combo, and yet it's Mega that pushes up, and yet it's Talon that back off.
Yeah, they have to go back for the moment. They didn't invest heavily in the last fight, though. So they've still got a good combination here, and there it is.
Combination, here comes that grab strike. We've only got 1 kill from the Dragon, but all the other kills come through regardless from a variety of different members. Everyone in Talon is having a go. Everyone sticks their thumb into the pie. And for Mega Esports themselves now coming up to their own Grab Dragon combo. A little bit too late, or perhaps not too late if they can get out in time here, because the cart is still not quite at the exit, but It is a precarious place. Now here comes that grab potentially. Looking for members. Look at where Talon Esports is standing.
They're all backing up.
Well, that does not catch enough members, I don't think.
Well, it caught a couple there, and we do see the Dragon Blade coming out on top of that, trying to capitalize on the back of Mushroom. But you saw Talon Esports, they really split out. They obviously commed that the grab was coming.
I think this is the cap.
And it doesn't matter.
And Earthshatter, okay, well, Pixie does sort of ignore the Earthshatter as you would in the Transcendence form, but for so far, that's it. That's all the tricks Mega had. They didn't have anything else to use post-Transcendence. Pichu also didn't realistically have anyone to heal inside the Transcendence. It was just him. And ultimately, despite the Dragon Blade coming through from Apudo, the Grab Dragon combo itself was pretty much a failure. The Dragon Strike was Apudo's attempt to rescue that defense, but you look at the way Talon were holding themselves, you look at the way Talon were positioned, they were all fairly split apart. They knew the grab was coming, they knew the combo was coming, and even the few members that did get caught in the grab were saved by the Transcendence from Persia. While that was all happening, big DPS players, HYG in a week, were finding kills left, right, and center, while Mega were trying to pile into the grab.
Prince of Persia, man, just throwing potions around at them. Great heals from the Zenyatta there.
Shifting the sands of time and reversing the effects of that Grab Dragon to nil, which is about how much impact it ultimately had there. And now Talon are in a very winnable situation. And they've been in a winning situation so far for the majority of the series. And
a little blip on Anubis.
I would say a significant blip, considering that Talon Esports need or would really like to have a good map score, 4-0 here, to compete with the other Korean teams in Group A to get a high seed positioning at the end of the season. And being one map down, and I remind you that the map differential before we came into these matchups tonight, top 3 teams, 5, 4, and 3 in terms of differential. One map difference between each of those 3 teams. So every single map win counts, and Talon have dropped 1.
Unless it's a tiebreaker map, in which case it does not count towards your score. It'll be a 2-2 recorded after that, but if you get a 3-1 win, that's definitely some positives for you there. Talon Esports here on the defense. They will be going double sniper. Of course, Apudo, though, is going to be trying getting up in their business with this Genji.
Double sniper is to be expected. So Mega Esports, it's, I guess, eyes on Apudo. It's been mainly eyes on Apudo anyway. It's what you would expect. Both now, DPS can find 1 kill. Oh, that's a bad place to be, looking for a resurrection. Haru lucky to get away with his life. Apudo not quite onto him in time, and because of that, a weak gets raised up, and because he gets raised up, finds Apudo, gets a point-blank headshot. Apudo sent back to spawn. Enzidanar as well, suffering the same fate. And for Talon Esports, now snowballing this defense further. Infrasight available. Enzidanar now looking for the next Widowmaker duel. Is going to be incredibly unfavored.
It's tough from up there. He's been doing a good job so far, and he will get the added bonus of the Infrasight to help him out with this duel. You see Apudo maybe even trying to bait that out, and NZ, nah, come on, you can't peek that. You don't have your Infrasight up, you know he has his.
The other thing is Apudo is grounded. Ooh, with that being said, he did find the kill on the weak. The reason he was grounded was because while the Infrasight is up, he can't flank, and a lot of his gameplay right now on this Genji, if he wants to be effective, has to be flanking. Because he killed the weak though, given that 6v5, and there's not going to be a res time around, he has a blade, but he gets taken down by Persia, so what was a pretty decent start and an opening for Apudo gets closed just as quickly.
Yeah, it feels like the rest of his team not able to keep tempo with him there. You see them locked behind the cart, not able to put any pressure in, and that just leaves 3 or 4 Talon members free to come back, peel, and destroy Apudo. At least the next time he comes in, he will still have that Dragon Blade, possibly even to combo with the grab.
And at least the cart positioning is decent as well, but Enzidanar, who's by the way playing a Winston now, goes down fairly quickly. Where is this blade from Apudo? And when I say where is the blade, I'm really asking where are the kills, because the blade we know is out, but the kills are not come in. Talon Esports are going to write a different story on that one. That is the Grab's Dragon coming through. Pichu with the Transcendence does save the majority of the lives, but not while the Transcendence is down. And as soon as the ultimate is gone, well, Mega are not in a position to keep themselves alive any longer, and despite pushing the camp somewhat through the courtyard, they have been reset.
Nope, Talon don't care. Talon don't care if you've got that Transcendence up and running. They're still going to come for you, and they're still going to get the kills. They really chased down Mega there, and even after the Transcendence finished, Mega were running scared.
I gotta say, Enzino is very committed to playing this Winston. He contemplated going onto the Hanzo and then very quickly went back to this Winston and said, no, I will remain on this tank. So triple tank where...
And double main tank, right? That's just the...
But it's the opposing playstyles that has me really confused here, because Enzino would like to dive, but Tito can't dive with him. So here comes a grab. The follow-up somewhat coming through here. In fact, coming through in a much bigger way now. Weak with one response, but one response not quite good enough. Two response slightly better. You will expect this to make some... Wow, he's going to make it 3, really? A week is... he's not going easy on Mega right now. He's smelling that victory, and he's definitely going to make Mega work for this push.
I mean, by himself...
Oh my lord, that's a
By himself, he's just done more damage than Mushroom did with that Graviton
Is this
surge.
5? No, it's not.
That is a machine, but that said, Mega have almost managed to get point 1 now. They've just got to push TYG up.
This has been an exceptional slowdown, though. Enough so that Talon Esports have been able to reconsolidate onto the cup. Because a week got 4 kills, Talon now have all their members together for this defense.
Yeah, they've managed to all spawn in because of that. We see the Valkyrie coming out here
Shatter.
from Haru. The Shatter's not too bad, but they do have the Transcendence Pichu's on top of his friends, healing them. A good charge from Tito will take Persia out of the fight. And they've just got to get through Villeneuve.
Tito-Watt's been a bit of a hero right now. He's trying his best, but a week is not to be deterred, except by Apudo just sent a Dragon Strike on Dragon Strike. TYG, though, picking up the slack from his dead teammate a week. Villeneuve as well, and Apudo doing as much as he can, but as much as he can, unfortunately, not going to be enough. I think we can credit Mega Esports for that one victory in Temple of Anubis. Well-deserved, well-earned, well-fought, and, I mean, you can't take anything away from that. That was absolutely their map to win, but this time around, it has been a struggle the entire way through. You look at the attack coming from Talon Esports, a full cap out, and a reasonably quick one on the 3rd point as well. You look at that defense, a full hold on A, and we had a conversation earlier. We talked about the viability of full hold on A, and here you see one.
And I feel like that comment about, you know, despite Apudo's best efforts, they can't make it happen. It kind of describes the whole night there. There was some good points for Mega, right? They did manage to capture Anubis, and that's definitely something to be proud of. Taking a map off of Talon, that's only their 2nd map, I think, of
it is.
tournament.
That is Mega's 2nd map.
So it's kind of sad that
they've improved their map record by 100%. Genome.
Massive effort. I mean, well, look, it's what they'll, I guess they take it, right? It's not the best result for them, but it's probably more than we expected. We came in saying, you know, probably 4-0 for Talon Esports.
This says that Mega came to play. A 4-0 for Talon says that Mega were absent. So I think this is a very important map win for Mega.
Says they haven't given up on the season yet.
Says they were definitely had their feet in the game, and I think that is, considering some of the 4-0s that have happened to them, I would say the 1-3 losses are definitely a lot more bearable, but still so. The season currently is 0-4 match-wise for Mega. They have one more match left to go, and
almost certainly relegated now.
And in fact, they are. I don't believe that Mega can climb out of 5th, even if they can win their last match. The highest they can get would be a 5th, and that would not be enough. So
back to trials it is for Mega Esports, the Thai guys. Well, at least they'll have a warm-up going into next Contenders. You know, sometimes you have a little bit of a break between Contenders season. I would go as far as to say Mega, or not just Mega, but Team Thailand will be reinvigorated for the World Cup. They will have a lot to prove, especially based on this result, especially based on the fact that I believe Mickey's captaining the team. Dallas Field has had a tough season as well. Enough of that, let's quickly recap now, or rather, look at the updated standings. Talon leading the way 3-1, technically tied with March, if not mistaken, because they're both on 10 map wins. Monster Shield on 9, EXL on 6 map wins. Both